My name is Jim Dolly. I'm the founder of the White Coat Investor, which is a community, really, where we help doctors get a fair shake on Wall Street.
My name is Brett Stevens, and I'm the COO of the White Coat Investor, which means I get the privilege of running the business side of what White Coat Investor is.
It really started in residency when I realized every interaction I had had with a financial professional did not end well for me. And I decided I needed to become financially literate.
You know, for White Coat Investor, our community is really our greatest asset. And we work hard to make sure that that's really where we're putting the investment. And for us, that comes from trust.
I think we've been investing with DLP for 5 or 6 years now, and partnering with them at the White Coat Investor for about that same length of time. It's a pretty awesome, package to be offered as an investor. Private, passive, liquid. You just don't see that from very many other investments.
You know, when we look at it, especially an investment opportunity, if it's not something that Jim and myself would be willing personally to invest in, then it's not something we're willing to promote and we're willing to talk about to our audience. Because that's really the standard, is something that we're comfortable with.
You get to avoid the dramatic volatility you see in the publicly traded markets. You get to benefit from being an owner and being a long-term owner and having that mentality of not feeling like the properties in the funds have to be sold off in 3 years or 5 years or 7 years, and yet you still benefit from the liquidity.
You know, what's most impressive and what I've enjoyed, and the reason I've continued to invest more and more with DLP, is really about the fact that they do what they say they're going to do. You know, whether that comes down to 1099 showing up when they're supposed to, or K1s coming out, or whatever is happening, that all happens when it's supposed to. When we're supposed to get an update on a fund, it comes the day it's supposed to be there. When we need information, it's always there and it's provided. And they've never lost money. Their return continues to be consistent and continues to be what we're looking for. It's also wonderful to be able to make investments that have an impact.
And to be able to make an impact on one of the biggest problems we're facing in America at the same time just wraps it all up in a nice little package. And that's one of the beautiful things about investing with DLP, is you're making an impact on an important problem to solve, which is the affordable housing crisis. It's terrible in our city of Salt Lake. I don't know where my kids are going to live. You know, I look around my neighborhood and I can't afford to buy a house there anymore. And it becomes a real problem. And I love seeing a company that's doing something practical, something fundamental to actually address that issue.
You know, number one is to make sure that those investments are solid and going to do well. But if you can do that and also have an impact on some of the things going on that are problems that we have in this country and in the world, and still make a great return, that's a win-win.